What's up, guys? Happy Monday. So Carla asked a really great question. She's like, how do you know when you're growing in the sport? So this week I had a growth moment that I was like, you know what? Yeah, I've changed. Because look, on Tuesday I joined the sparring for the first time in like forever. So I decided to join the guys, and then the point of the drill to start off the sparring was to land 10 punches to the stomach. And so I went with an individual that he came off like a little bit like, okay, you know, I got this. Like, he had an attitude to himself. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know, I'm kind of used to that. I mean, ever since I started sparring, like just in my journey in MMA, like I've experienced people that have felt like they're better than me just because I'm short, I am a girl, whatever it is in their mind, I don't really care. But there was always some sort of like, okay, I'm better than you, right? I can feel it. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna go with this person. And so, you know, we were landing punches back and forth, and then I thought to myself, I was like, okay, so if I land the punch like this, but then if I leave my hands down for too long, I could get punched like in my head if I don't cover right away, right? And so, yeah, we were landing those punches, but at the same time in my mind, I was thinking, okay, so if I land this punch, I need to make sure that I cover up so I don't get punched again. Maybe it won't be like a punch in the stomach, but I could get punched in the face. I can get a knee into the face, or whatever the case was, right? Yeah, like even though we were not going for knees or takedowns and stuff like that, I still was thinking in my mind, okay, I still got to make sure that I move or I cover up. And so this person, you know, had a smirk, and I was like, you know, it's funny because when I first started, I used to get so mad at that Taz would smirk, right? He would have this face to himself that used to piss me off because I'm like, man, bro, you're making fun of me. There were some opportunities that I could have gone in and, you know, continue to hit him. Because even Carla noticed that there were some times that I was moving, you know, in angles, and I could have caught him like a lot of times, you know, but I didn't because I wanted to move. I wanted to just continue to flow and stuff. And it's not a hard sparring round. And that's one thing that I think growing from the sport, you can see that I'm not trying to hurt my opponent, right? I'm not trying to, well, I am trying to hurt my opponent in a fight, but I'm not trying to hurt my teammate. I'm not trying to, you know, do damage. I am trying to land the punch, and I'm going to let you know that, hey, I'm hitting you in this spot. So if you don't move your head, if you don't defend, then that's a knockout punch. And so that's where I was like, I don't have anything to prove to you because you just have a smirk, you have an attitude. And then even before that, this individual sparred with another individual and they were going hard. So I'm like, I don't got to go through that. I don't got anything to prove. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. But then it's like, it's funny because back then I would have taken those things personal and I would have been upset, but not anymore. The lesson here is that you don't have anything to prove to anybody. If you know yourself, you can stay calm, you know, do as you're told by the coach, but you don't have to add more emotion into what we're doing. It is what it is. The sport, it's that. It's going to be intense, but you don't have to take that into heart and try to kill somebody just because they're hitting you hard. You know, like it doesn't have to be like that. So it was just funny to me that it was like, damn, I'm grown, bro. I have grown, and it's nice that it's taking some time to realize that, but definitely the growth is there. There's one particular situation with Taz and one of his students. And so Taz asked a question to the class, right? And he's like, who would you rather get hit by? By Elon Musk or Mike Tyson, right? I personally would not like to get hit by Mike Tyson. Hell no, I would not want to get hit by Mike Tyson. Nope. So why? He is a trained fighter. He is Mike Tyson, right? But Not only that, when you're a trained fighter, you know how to punch. Well, that's what you're trained to do, to fight, right? Elon Musk, he's a professional, but he's not a trained fighter, you know? So this came about because this particular student mentioned how they felt like they weren't growing, right? They felt like they needed a more challenge, and the people that were sparring him were not hitting him like that, so he could take those punches, you know? And so the context of it and the purpose of it was just to say, hey, I need a challenge, right? But then again, this brought up a lot of ideas, and like, it got to me because, one, if I were to go up to Tess and be like, Tess, I don't feel like I'm growing in the sport. He's gonna be like, well, what the heck are you doing training, right? What do you do every day? What are you focusing on? And then he'll go over my goals, like, what is your goal in the sport, whatever. And so if Tess has a team of guys, girls, and you see people getting better, right? And then if I go up to him and say, I don't feel like I'm growing, is it his fault or is it my fault for not putting enough effort in the right areas? Growth comes in not just from physicality, like literally in MMA, you can grow in a lot of areas. One, for sure, it could be your mindset. When you first start the sport, you could be a douchebag. You could be like, I'm the shame. I know how to punch. I'm stronger than everybody. I'm faster, whatever. And for some people, because they've had some background in sports, or they just feel like they're the shit, they may have a changing perspective over time because they become more humble, they are more coachable, and they become like a better human being, right? Let's say if you become more skillful, maybe you are a good person and you have a nice heart and you're hardworking, but you don't have a lot of technique, a lot of skill. And so over time with MMA, you can become more skillful because you worked on your technique. You took the time and to go through the technique step by step, and you become more open to learn and more open-minded, and you actually listen and you pay attention, you take notes. So that's another growth that you could take, right? And then another thing, literally you can grow for just changing your overall viewpoint of MMA. And what's even crazier now that I think about it, when I first started, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do MMA to freaking punch it and just release my emotions, right? And so I wasn't too knowledgeable about what MMA does until I actually began to open my mind and learn what the sport was. And I did it and I repped, and then I saw how it was transforming my life and how I was changing. And so it's definitely more than just fighting. It's more than punching stuff. It's more than just releasing and having a workout.